Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And let me be clear on this. I don't want a government-controlled monopoly. I just want every Florida family to be able to afford a decent meal. Mr. Chairman, as all of you know, I think, I grew up in a rural part of Jacksonville, Florida, in a family that did not have a lot. So you can imagine food that was affordable was critical to our family. My parents grew vegetables, they raised chickens, they traded with neighbors, and relied on our local independent grocery stores. Coming together as a community, although it was tough, many days, we were able to make it work. Now, I think every business wants to make a profit, but greed is a different thing. And that's what we are here to talk about today. We have seen consolidation of the people who buy crops and meats from our farmers and ranchers, giving them the power to squeeze both for greater profits for themselves and reduce profits for those they buy from. This is just wrong. The National Grocers Association confirmed that with limited supplies, independent grocery stores have not received their fair share, seeing whole pallets of the products missing from independent shelves in the big box retailers across the street. The evidence is clear. Big corporations have squeezed and continue to do so independent stores and food producers out of the marketplace, leaving us with a fragile food system. Mr. Maxwell, Florida has a significant agriculture economy, providing the state with a wide variety of safe and dependable food products and large and stable economic base. According to the USDA in 2019, Florida ranked first in the US in the value of production for bell peppers for fresh market, grapefruits, oranges, sugarcane, fresh market tomatoes and watermelons, second in the value of production for bell peppers, fresh market sweet corn and strawberries, and third in fresh market cabbage, peanuts, and squash. Mr. Maxwell, how does the consolidation of our food system from middleman to food companies to grocers affect the availability of fresh, healthy, and affordable food for Floridians and the livelihoods, we all should care about it, of Florida ranchers and farmers and the economy in Florida?
Thank you for the question. The issues that you present within your question clearly need to be framed within the domination that the dominant firms have, the CR4, and the power that they then have. As your farmers raise their produce, there are limitations in who will stand ready to buy that produce and then to process that produce. For the cattle producer, there's a limitation on the number of firms that will buy those fat cattle. You have great cattle production, beef production in the state of Florida, and it is getting more and more heavily concentrated. Farmers are facing harder and harder times to find a fair price. What it does to the consumer is that there's a bottleneck in the processing. These supply chains are so extended globally and nationally that it limits the amount of choices that a consumer has in a grocery store. Mr. Needler already testified on how he's not given the same fair deal for his opportunities to present to his customers as are the large box stores. So those bottlenecks in the supply chain create barriers for producers to access markets and consumers to access choices at the grocery store.
Mr. Maxwell, thank you so much. Mr. Needler, over the past several years, Florida has seen a reduction of grocers in many communities, leaving many Floridians in food deserts. How are small and independent grocers helping address the problem of food deserts, particularly in underserved communities, including rural areas like the one I grew up in?
Well, I think you should start by looking at one of the biggest issues with food deserts is once somebody's gone, the barrier to entry really is the capital intensity that's required to open the store. So independent retailers have been nimble enough to take on different formats and different types of stores. Like my example would be that we've grown over the years because I've been able to take on a different type of store, a smaller format, a bigger format, and we've been able to be nimble and try to serve the community with what we've got. We don't have to build a brand new store. We just try to step in and keep it going as long as we can, serve that community, nourish that community. So I think independent retailers have been more willing to try and take risk versus playing large scale capital allocations across markets.
Again, thank you all, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Generally yields back. I now